The Acer Swift series laptops are designed for lightweight, compact and portable use. And today we're looking at the newly refreshed Acer Swift 3 that comes with the Intel Tiger Lake 11th Gen core processors. The one we have here is the highest end model, the SF314-59, with the Intel Core i7-1165G7. So let's take a look at what Acer has to offer with this refresh. Let us get the specs out of the way. In Malaysia, we're getting two configurations, Core i5 and Core i7 variants. So technically speaking, if you want to get the 16GB RAM option, you will have to get the Core i7 model like this one. Apart from that, only the Core i5 model will get the blue, pink and silver color options, while the Core i7 only silver. Now since the new Swift 3 is receiving a hardware refresh, aesthetically it is 100% identical to its predecessor. The use of magnesium aluminum alloy does make this laptop feel sturdy and lightweight, but I wouldn't say this is the lightest laptop I've ever seen. But since this is the entry-level Swift model, Acer does strike a quite reasonable balance between the weight and rigidity. And in terms of the ports, the left side you get a traditional barrel charging port, a Thunderbolt 4, which is also USB Type-C, one full-size HDMI and another USB 3.2 Type-A port. Meanwhile, on the right side is a 3.5mm audio combo jack and USB 2.0 Type-A port. Honestly, I don't understand why laptop manufacturers still continue to offer USB 2.0 in year 2021. I know it comes as standard with the motherboard chipset, but how expensive it is to offer USB 3.0, the 5GB that one. The wide backlit keyboard is very nice to type on as it doesn't sacrifice the travel distance for the slim build. I do have a minor complaint on the power button placement, as it needs a stiffer spring to prevent accidental press, or just put it elsewhere. The touchpad is surprisingly good with finger and gesture tracking, even though this is not one of those premium glass type touchpads. While Microsoft has done a great job on the precision touchpad driver, the palm rejection still requires a lot of work in order to give a better user experience. Then moving on to the display, it is a 14-inch 1080p IPS panel made by Qimei, and it is a decent choice for a laptop of this price range. It has great color gamut coverage at about 60% sRGB coverage. Well, it is definitely good enough for your everyday usage, and the brightness range is about 20 to 280 nits. I mean, it is pretty useful for your different usage occasions. Even though Acer markets this laptop to have narrow bezels design, but let's face it, we have seen better and modern bezels on other laptops. I don't hate it, but I just think it is an okay-ish bezel. Now, you do get a 720p webcam on it, but it doesn't really support Windows Hello authentication. But you do get a fingerprint scanner that is working with Windows Hello. By the way, the hinge of this thing is, it opens up to 180 degrees, almost, maybe 178. Our review sample here is the top spec configuration with Intel Tiger Lake Core i7-1165G7, 16 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM and 512 gigs of PCIe X4 SSD storage. The RAM is soldered on, so you will have to make your decision whether to get the 8GB or 16GB when purchasing the Swift 3. The SSD, on the other hand, can be upgraded without much issue. In terms of the performance, I believe you won't be disappointed by the new Swift 3. It flies through your daily tasks and even handles demanding loads such as gaming without much of an issue. Of course, you can't expect it to run AAA titles at high graphical settings, but thanks to the Iris Xe iGPU, you can now game on an ultra-portable machine like this one. When you set the Windows power mode to best performance, you will experience the full potential of the i7-1165G7. Our Cinebench R23 test shows the chip stabilized at around 28 watt TDP, while the temperature hovers at a range of 85 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it can spike up to 92 degrees Celsius, but I think that is alright for laptop of this thinness. Overall, Acer has done an excellent job at harvesting the chip's performance as well as cooling it. Throughout our regular usage and testing period, I could hardly tell if the fan is actually spinning or not. The fan noise do get a bit noticeable during the benchmark sessions, so yeah, there is a single fan inside there. Another important factor to highlight about a thin and light portable machine is, of course, the battery life. 48 watt-hour is pretty decent for entry-level portable laptops. In our actual real-life usage tests, which involve setting the power profile to better battery mode, 50% screen brightness and browsing the web, and YouTube on Microsoft Edge, we managed to get somewhere around 7 to 8 hours of battery life out of a single full charge. Now, charging is done through the conventional barrel charging port. While I'm not a big fan of this, but you do have the option to use PD-compatible chargers or power banks through the Type-C port. All in all, I am pretty impressed with the new Acer Swift 3. I mean, this particular model is the SF314-59. The laptop is very well designed for portable use and competitively priced. The Core i5 model is about 3,299 ringgit Malaysia, while the Core i7 is 4,199 ringgit Malaysia. Yes, the closest competition I can come up with is probably the Asus VivoBook K413 for the i5 model and the MSI Modern 14 for the i7 model. The competitors are slightly more expensive, presumably because they included a dedicated GPU. Worth mentioning is that the Swift 3 and the VivoBook K413 actually comes included with Microsoft Office Home and Student Edition, so that should somehow bring up the value of them. In a nutshell, if you're in a market looking for a laptop for everyday use, such as web conference calls, web browsing, entertainment, and basically everything else, I believe the Intel Core i5 model of the Acer Swift 3 is an excellent choice, given that it is a whopping 900 ringgit cheaper compared to the i7 model, and you won't be losing out too much on the performance. So that's all we want to say about the new Acer Swift 3, the 2021 version with Intel Tiger Lake. Do let us know what you guys think about this laptop. If you have any questions, do leave them down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.